I will be one of those toxic boyfriends because I feel as though now I have a terrible relationship with realtors. And I can see something very normal and people go like, oh my God, Donovan, why are you being so rude or mean? And I'm just like, I'm not. And I feel like when I do that, people either shut down.
The Bamboo Project Podcast starts in 3, 2.
Welcome to the Bamboo Project Podcast. I decided I wanted to help create 1,000 millionaires, including myself. And not by being a guru or selling a course, but by doing the things I already love to do every day and documenting the journey to get there. I figure I'll make all the mistakes so you don't have to. My name is Donivan Gray, and this is how I will turn my life into a living. So first, I want to start off by giving a shout out to everyone supporting us and the channel. We definitely appreciate you. We are currently streaming on all major streaming platforms such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Anchor. You name it, we on it. And if we not on it, we about to be on it. For everyone listening to this podcast and not watching it, you can find us on YouTube at The Bamboo Project. We have over 370 videos on our channel. Cooking tutorials inspired by Dr.Sebi, we got that. Travel and lifestyle vlogs, got it. Makeup, got it. Hair growth, got it. Real estate, got it. Basketball, got it. It's everything us. All the parts of the journey that don't make it to YouTube will probably be on our story. You can find me on Instagram at Donivan Gray, DONIVANGRAY, and my phenomenal, beautiful, amazing girlfriend, Anita Byrne, ANETABURN. The Bamboo Project is about turning your life into a living by making money off the things you do already every day. For us, that's the food project, the music project, the clothing project, the fitness project, the sports project, and the Bamboo Project Podcast, which you are listening to right now. This may be your first time here, and if it is, welcome to the family. But for everyone else, this is chapter 2, page 75. All right? So, I know some of y'all are new, so here's how we get down on the podcast. We have 4 different segments, okay? The first segment is the life update. On the way to creating 1,000 millionaires, we will have our ups and a lot of downs. All of that will be in the life update. We have episode Playback, which is self-explanatory. It says playback of last week's episode. It's kind of things I want to go over in it. Then we have the third segment, which will be Donovan's question. A question I had earlier in the week, and I kind of want to bring it to you guys and see what you guys think. And then we have the fourth segment, which would be the topic of the day. All video and audio timestamps will be in the description box below. Today's date is August 24th. It is currently 4:51 p.m. We are shooting a little bit earlier than we've been doing. We're getting earlier. We're getting earlier and earlier. Shout out to my sister who I talked to, and she said that it sounds better when I'm doing it earlier in the day. So now, before we get into life update, we start off with the screen time. Why? Because it helps me to know how much time I spend on my phone, and anybody listening, you may not know how much time you spend on your phone. This will kind of be a reminder to go, oh, okay, I do spend a lot of time on my phone, or, oh, I actually went down from last week to this week. So on the screen, I will have how much time I spent. And for people who are listening and not watching, you will be able to hear how much I spent on my phone. Daily average is 7 hours and 22 minutes this week. That's Sunday, Monday, and today, which is Tuesday, which is down 11% from last week, which is always good. I think anytime I'm over 8 hours a day, I feel like that's just crazy. So let's see. I'm gonna go to see all activity, and this will show me each day individually. So Sunday, I spent 6 hours and 57 minutes on my phone. Yesterday, which was Monday, I spent 9 hours and 3 minutes, and today I spent 6 hours and 6 minutes. Now we will see how I spent my time today on my phone. I've already been on my phone I've already been on Instagram for 1 hour and 56 minutes today. My limit I have is 2 hours, so I have 4 minutes left for the whole day, and it's already 4:53 p.m. Now YouTube, I spent 1 hour and 19 minutes. Payapl, which I'm gonna get into because I tell you they are with a terrible company. 24 minutes, Safari 48 minutes, Messages 24 minutes, and YouTube Studio 18 minutes, and Twitter 10 minutes. And then last but not least, the pickups was 74 pickups today, 113 on Sunday, and 51 yesterday. All right, so we will now get into life update. So as a lot of you guys have seen in the last week, last 2 weeks, this has been a wild roller coaster, which I'm still heartbroken by. Every time I think about it, I feel traumatized. I was telling Melissa earlier that I think that I will be one of those toxic boyfriends, because I feel as though now I have a terrible relationship with realtors, and anytime I talk to one, I'm gonna feel hurt, and I'm gonna always think they're trying to hurt me. I can't trust them. I can't trust realtors no more. I'm like, I'll say I have 99%. No, that's the wrong way. I have 1% left of trust in realtors. Just 1%, probably less than that, because every time I deal with realtors, I feel like I get either the short end of the stick or they just are incompetent. That's how I feel. It's just my experience with realtors. I don't know why this keeps coming up. This is a thing I've noticed. So, y'all know last week we had the Airbnb situation where the owner canceled the lease. It's so crazy. The owner said the lease was canceled. He did not call us directly. Somebody who we later found out was his lawyer called us. Then when we talked to the realtor about it, he told us that the landlord also wanted to cancel the lease. Nobody told us this until after we already signed the lease, after we already bought all the furniture to furnish 2 apartments. I think last week I said 2 rooms. No, it's 2 apartments. We're furnishing 2 full apartments. That's 2 1,000 square foot apartments. That means beds and couches and TVs for all of those rooms, rugs, paper towels, all of those things furnished, right? So last week's episode was shot on Wednesday. So what we went through after Wednesday is ridiculous, to be completely honest with you. It's asinine, it's ridiculous, it's crazy. And I still cannot believe to this point that we went through that. The whole week was just crazy. After we finally came to terms with the fact that we will not be moving into the place that we signed a lease for, we realized we had to return all the furniture. One of the problems that we had or ran into when returning the furniture was that we were not staying at the Airbnb. So we were staying in a different Airbnb, which is about 20 to 25 minutes away. We also did not have a truck that we rented. We rented a Dodge Charger. You can Google that. I'll put a picture on the screen of what it looks like. It's not really a car meant for moving furniture around, right? So it's bigger than what we normally get, but it's not big enough for what we had it for. We're trying to figure out, okay, how are we going to return all of these things, right? And the issue was not getting things stolen. So we were going back and forth. Whenever we got an email that things were delivered, we had to drive over there, pick them up, take them to a storage unit, and do that for the remainder of the time we were there. So that's about 3 days or so. Honestly, maybe 4 days. It's like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, right? So to make matters worse, we had to rent a truck because it was a little bit easier to do it, to kind of move things around when we originally thought, okay, we're just going to take the items from the storage unit, from the in front of the house, and then take those things to the storage unit. It became more difficult because now we have to move all the items in the storage unit at one time, because it would be insane to drive to the storage unit and drive back and forth to deliver all those things. So we got a truck, right? We spent 2 days returning all the furniture. The first day we thought was going to be smooth. We thought we would just take maybe like 30 minutes, get everything on a truck, and then take it to where we had to deliver it to, right? So a couple problems came up with that. The first problem we ran into was that we had to print out different papers for each item that we had. So different packages were going to different people. So everything wasn't going to UPS, everything wasn't going to FedEx. So we had to go and figure out, okay, what goes to what. Then we had to buy tape, wrap everything up, right? We was in the Target parking lot from like 4:30 to like 9 o'clock, right? And we did all of that. Finally, to go, okay, let's, because obviously if you don't know, what is it called? Staples has a UPS drop-off point, but they end up closing. So we're like, all right, the rest of these products have to go to FedEx. We went to a different FedEx drop-off point, which is CVS. We get in there. We bring all the furniture inside to drop it off. We get in there, and then the manager comes out and says to us that there's a limit to how many things you can drop off. Let me not say that. There is a like a weight limit and a size limit to where you can drop off. So they don't take furniture. For us, we had 2 mattresses, which were fairly heavy, and we had a bench, I believe, which is also pretty large. It wasn't heavy, just large. So I'm like, okay. Now we're kind of just like, damn. We rented this car or this truck for 4 hours, and now we're out here for more than 4 hours, and we're gonna have to keep it for the next day because we still have these things on the truck. Also, we were in a parking lot, right? And while we're in the parking lot, some guy comes up to us and he's like, hey, can y'all help me? Melissa's looking at me like we shouldn't help him, and I'm always kind of just like, you know what? The worst that could happen to me is I get killed. That's the worst possible thing, right? And I think to myself, can I take this guy if he's going to try and kill me? I'm like, I think Melissa and I could take him. But I don't also think that I don't think that he's coming off very menacing to me. He seems like he's a very normal guy. I think as a human being, I always try to push aside the worst I would think of somebody and go, okay, he may just be somebody that needs help. So I'm like, sure, let me just reach out, help him, whatever, find out what he needs. So what happened to him was his car had, I think it died or broke down or something, right? So he was saying that he wanted to move it to a parking lot where he wouldn't get a ticket. So he actually wanted to move it out of the Target parking lot and move it, not Target, Staples parking lot, and move it to the back where they actually have free parking. So he wanted us to use the truck, the U-Haul truck, and push his car while he's inside around the parking lot to the back of the building to put in another parking lot. So I'm like, all right, sure. I'm like, my only issue with doing it was this. I'm like, we're still in the middle of trying to like package all of these things up. It's late. I'm kind of exhausted, but I'm like, listen, I think this could be a little good. This could be a break. It could be helpful. I'm stressed. Melissa's stressed. We're just figuring, you know what? How about I'm thinking, let me just do something else to get my mind off of this thing that we're dealing with right now. Oh, yeah, and we had somewhere to be, which is an escape room. So that was what we were dealing with at the time. So I figured, okay, I figured it won't take that long. It's like, how long will it take to push a car around the building? 10 minutes maybe? That's not that big of a deal. So start pushing the car. First he's like, oh, we shouldn't push it. We should actually hook it on the back, and we're going to drive it around the building. I'm like, okay, sounds good enough to me. Get around the back. Now this is where I'm like, okay, this is definitely how things could go absolutely wrong. Like I see in this moment, okay, this could go bad, but I'm prepared. I'm like, all right, if things would have happened, I'm ready. Here's the scene, right? So we're in a very lit parking lot at Staples. Okay, there's probably 2 cars in the whole parking lot, and there's lights, but Staples is closed. So we're pushing this car around the back of Staples through, I would say, like maybe a 1-person driveway, like a 1-car driveway, maybe 1.5 cars, probably about that size, right? And it's dark back there. There's no people back there. There's not really any lights back there. And I'm like, okay, somebody could jump out from back here, take the car from us, tell us, all right, give me the car, whatever's in the bag, give me all the stuff you have, give me your money, whatever. I'm taking your girlfriend with me too, right? All these things can happen as we go to the back. So keep my eyes peeled. I'm like, all right, if I see any sharp movements, anybody jump out, I'm checking my mirrors, doors is locked. I'm like, all right, we cool. I'm looking around. Melissa's recording, which is another great thing. She's recording. So we're YouTubers now. You can't rob a YouTuber. You're going to be caught every time. You're going to be on YouTube if you try to rob us. So I'm like, all right, cool. Everything's good. So we drive around. We actually have to get his car into a parking spot. So I have to like drag a car around a pole, through 2 other poles, and then into a parking lot, into a parking space, right? So I'm like, all right, everything seems cool. And, seems like a regular guy, nothing crazy. He seemed very appreciative. So I'm like, all right, cool. I appreciate this. He's like, want to pay us for it. I'm like, oh, wow, I wasn't expecting this. So he tried paying us, and it didn't go through. But I said, listen, sir. Don't even worry about it. I said, look, I have a YouTube channel. You subscribe, we even. Then we good. He said, well, I said, yeah, listen, just subscribe. I don't even need the money. I said, I did this because I felt like you probably needed it and it's whatever. So here, it don't kill me to do it. And I am in a position to help. I'm going to do that. So he's like, all right, cool. So he subscribed, he put the bell notification on, and I think he liked the video too. I'm not sure. And then that was it. We left. Come to find out later, as we was in FedEx trying to deliver more packages, he actually paid us $100 for that. So I'm like, wow, look at God. We got $100 for doing that. So like I said, I just think, that's part of the trip that we went on. Also, I believe it was the next day after that, after we finally got everything delivered, which again, like I said, took 2 days to do. It took 2 days. Melissa and I got into it because she was stressing me out like my girlfriend normally does on a regular day basis. What was the reason that she was stressing me out that day? I don't even remember what it was.
The second day?
Yes.
It was the pillows, and you're trying to show me something. And I said, I tried to show you that yesterday, and then you didn't talk to me for the rest of the day. Yes.
It was her attitude. You're right. So the first issue I had was these pillows. Right now, you guys could tell me what you think about this. If you guys have an opinion, I'm gonna say my opinion on it first, and then you guys could you could either comment or whatever. You could DM me or something. Tell me what you think if I'm bugging, or text me if you have my number. Right. So we about to leave the Airbnb. Right now, we just got monetized, which I'm gonna get into later. Monetized means we finally get paid on YouTube. We were not getting paid. 380 videos in, we made $0 off YouTube. We just now started getting paid last week, right? So I'm adding the ads to the video, right? Melissa gets up, she starts packing, putting things in the car. So I'm like, all right. So I finished doing that. I'm cleaning up the room, right? And Melissa's cleaning up. I'm cleaning up. So as she's going to the bathroom, she asked me to take the pillowcases off the pillows because she had put we have brought pillowcases because we have natural hair and we don't want our hair to dry out. We gotta these are things you gotta do as a natural person. You gotta bring pillowcases with you, either silk or satin, I don't know. And she's like, can you take the pillowcases off the pillow? Now, it struck me as odd that she'd ask me to do that, right? Because I'm just like, why can't you do that? I don't have a problem taking the pillows off the pillowcase, but if that's something you could do, why are you asking me to do that? As we're both cleaning, that was my thing, was we are both currently cleaning. Why are you specifying something to ask me to do while we're cleaning? That was my thing, right? And the other thing about it was, I got a feeling in my chest, right? Shout out to Dante Nero. He always says, if you feel, he's talking about his balls, but if you feel the tingle in your balls, it's probably because you're about to get kicked in the nuts, right? That's one of the models that he has. And that pretty much means that you can feel when disrespect is coming. You can feel when somebody's doing something out of either pettiness or malice, or you can feel that, right? So when she said that to me, I was just kind of like, what was that about? I'm like, why did she ask me to do that? I'm like, I'm cleaning. Why is she specifying the pillowcases? So I'm like, why'd you ask me that? Her reasoning was because she saw me putting clothes in the hamper, in the bag that we had that was our hamper, and she felt like she wanted me to do it. Now, this is not true.
I thought you were putting the dirty clothes away.
Mm-hmm.
And that's an item that's like a dirty clothing item that I thought maybe you might have forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I asked you to do it.
Mm-hmm.
That was it.
Okay. So she thought I was going to forget our red satin pillowcases on the pillows and leave them. Now, here's my thing. Is that legitimate to ask somebody to do? I think it is. I think it is a legitimate question to ask. I think the issue that I had is within the timing and the parameters of when it was asked. My issue was we are both cleaning, and I don't know why you were asking me to do that. Now, also, this is the third thing about it. I got the feeling that when she asked me, she felt like she did something wrong. And she felt like she shouldn't ask me that. And I could feel it. I'm like, why did she ask me that question? Later, we talked about it, and she said that because she was trying all day or all morning not to ask me to help clean. Is that correct?
Sure.
Okay. And then when that happened, she, I don't know what you want to call it. You say you felt bad. What would you call that?
I didn't want it to cause an issue.
But
because I don't think it's what I asked you or how I asked you. I think it's the fact that I asked you something. And I didn't want that to be an issue, but it became an issue. Like I was anticipating it being an issue, and you're telling me that because I anticipated it becoming an issue, that's the reason why it was an issue.
No, I'm thinking that it was after the fact that you asked me. That's why I got a feeling that it's almost as if you were. I got the feeling that you were being petty, right? Now, I would equate it to this. If I had asked you to clean the litter box in the bathroom as you're walking to the back of the litter box with the gloves in your hand, the garbage bag, and the scoop for the poop. And I said, hey, babe, can you clean the litter box? And you would go, why are you asking me to do that? I'm walking over here. You don't see me going to clean a litter box? Do you think that's different?
Yeah, because you weren't heading to put the pillowcases in the bag.
What was I doing?
You were cleaning up something else, or you were, I don't know. That's the last thing I saw you do, but it looked like you missed that. You weren't heading to go do that, so I don't think it's the same situation.
Okay, see, well, you told me that I was putting things in the hamper, so that means that I was putting laundry in the hamper. So that's why I equate them to being the same thing. So that was the first issue in the morning, right? Now, the reason that I was annoyed by that is because I felt like a common trend that me and Melissa have is when she feels like she's doing work or more work than I am, she gets an attitude. This happened the night before when we were at Staples, where she felt like she was doing more work than me, printing things for the labels, and she got an attitude with me because I was sitting down when she came outside. Now, why was I sitting down when she came outside? Because I had rearranged the boxes in the car, and I said, okay, I'm finished rearranging the boxes, I'm gonna sit down. Melissa did not like that I was sitting down and caught attitude. You sound like that's incorrect.
Because when I was going inside the Staples, I asked you to figure out what's in what box. That's what I had asked you to do. So when I came back out, and yes, you were sitting down, which did annoy me because
you were walking and I was sitting.
It's not because I was walking. It's not because it's not for that reason. It's just that like the time period that I took to go inside and come back out, I feel like you couldn't have figured out what was inside the boxes yet. So that's why I was annoyed, because I'm like, now, like, I don't feel like you're working with me. I feel like you were kind of leaving everything for me to do. And it takes more time because I don't know what's inside the boxes. And I felt like I was trying to explain that to you. And I feel like because you weren't doing it yourself and you didn't know how important that was, I feel like you didn't think it was important. So that's why you didn't do it. But that would have helped me a lot to know what was inside the boxes. Yeah.
I don't remember you asking me that to go.
I asked you that.
What did I say?
You said okay.
I don't remember that. I remember what I did was I put all the labels up so we can know what's inside the box. That's what I did. So that when we go to look at the boxes, we can see what's on each label.
What do you mean?
The issue that I had when we were first in the U-Haul was we didn't know what box was what. So we were stepping over boxes, going through the same box, not knowing what's what. So I decided I was going to separate the FedEx boxes from the UPS boxes, and I would have all the labels showing so that when we go into the truck, we know which label is what.
But we can't. But that's the thing. You're trying to separate it based off of what the outside of the box is, but you're not trying to figure out what's actually inside the box. And that's what I needed you to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because things ship together. So it's like the way that the return was set up, I don't think all the returns had the same items in that package.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I needed to know what's inside which box so that we know how it's supposed to be returned.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's
I don't remember you asking me that. So I
100% asked you that, and that's why I was upset, because I'm like, there's no way you could have done that. Like, there's no way you could have figured out, because there was even things that freaking it was supposed to go in UPS, but what I didn't know was it was the cookware set, and I'm like, this was here this whole time. I didn't know what it was, but I had to like open it up and like take it out in order to figure out what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a couple things like that. That's why I was asking for you to do it. So yeah, it didn't feel like you were working with me, and that's why I was annoyed.
Yeah, I guess I don't really know what to say to that you said that. Because I didn't know that. I don't remember you asking me that, so I can't really say. You said I said okay, I was gonna do it, and then I didn't do that. Yeah, I don't know. What else was I saying? What?
I feel like that's dismissive. It's like, well, I don't know if that's what you said, so therefore it's whatever.
Do you want me to apologize? I don't know what I would say to that, because I don't know if what you're saying is true. So I'm not going to say that it is true or it's not true, because I don't remember that happening.
I asked you. So you think that did not happen?
I don't know if it did. Because I don't know that you said, hey, can you look inside these boxes for me? Can you open these boxes for me? And I said, okay, and did not do that.
I think maybe you misunderstood what I was asking you to do, and maybe you thought you did what I asked you to do by separating it.
Honestly, I separated the boxes because I'm sitting out here doing nothing. So that's why I separated. That's what I did with the boxes. So I don't remember you asking me to do anything.
I asked you, do you have sometimes? I even have a clip in one of the videos that I just posted where I asked you a question and you were like, yeah. And then 2 seconds later then you said, no, I didn't do X, Y, and Z.
You just mean every other time of the day. That's not the one. Then we have to drive to the place. Did Karen approve it?
No. He said that he's going to approve it in the next couple of minutes. They just got it, and he said that she's going to approve it, so.
But when you said yeah the first time, I thought you were responding to me. So I'm wondering if it's a situation like that. But you responded to me. And you said yeah.
See, I have to see that clip, because I have to see that clip. Because you're saying that I responded yes and then said no?
Yeah, afterwards. This is not this trip. This is
another
trip.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Was it quickly afterwards?
Yes.
So what are you saying? What are you using as an example?
No, you quickly said yes afterwards, and then you took a beat, and then you said no afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what does that mean?
That you will respond to me, and that might not be your response for that question that I asked you.
I don't know if that's true, because I would, from what you're saying, it sounds like I thought something was true. I said, wait, that's probably not it, and I said no. That's what I'm hearing.
I don't know.
So will you think I just responded to you just to respond, and then I said no afterwards?
I don't think you said no afterwards. I think you responded to me, and then I don't know what happened after that.
I'm talking about the other scenario you just brought up.
Oh, the other scenario. Okay.
You said that I said yes, and then I said no afterwards, right afterwards.
Like you took a beat or two and then said no.
Okay, so that leads me to believe that I thought what I said was incorrect when I said yes, and then said no.
Okay.
That's different than this one, because you're saying that I didn't even say anything the second time.
You didn't. Yeah. You just answered me.
So that's right. You're saying I just said yes. So I can't compare those two things.
Okay.
So that one, which is why I don't see how you could have said to me, open the boxes, and I said.
So I never asked you to figure out what's inside the boxes.
I didn't say you didn't ask me that. I don't remember you asking me that. That's what I'm saying. Because you're saying that.
You don't remember me asking you that. Because I said it again once you came back to the thing, and I'm like, we need to figure out what's inside these boxes. I had asked you to do that already. Yeah.
What did I say when you said that?
I don't remember. I don't remember what you said after that.
Yeah, it says because when I remember you came back to the car, you wanted me to put labels on the boxes.
No.
Yes. You came back and you wanted me to have put labels on the box. That's because you would point at all the labels. You have all these papers here, and you didn't put any of these on the box. That's what I remember. I remember when you came back to the car, you said, "Why did I think you wanted me to put the labels on the boxes." That's what I remember you wanted me to do. I don't remember you asking me to open boxes up. And I remember
I was asking you to figure out what was in the boxes. That doesn't necessarily mean you have to open it up. Like, I didn't tell you. I don't want you to think that I told you to open up the boxes and say no. I never said that, because I did not tell you to open the boxes.
Okay.
I asked you to figure out what was inside the boxes.
Okay. I could kind of see that, and then I didn't take that as opening the boxes. So I'm like, okay, I can't tell what's in these boxes. I don't know what's in this box by looking at the label, and then with the label on it, or the label that was on the floor that we had the packages. So I didn't think that meant open the boxes. I didn't think that was supposed to open the box.
That I never explicitly said that. So, but there's really, I don't know what other way we would kind of figure that out other than opening the boxes.
By looking on the outside of the box.
Because like you said just now, it doesn't say what it is on the outside of the box.
Right, but some of them you can tell.
That's why.
And some of the labels also say it too. That's what I'm looking at. Like, some of the labels say where they're coming from, what's in it, based off what the company name might be. So I'm like, okay, we could tell this is from here. This is what that is. This is what this person sent or whatever. This is probably this. The small things we can't really tell.
I think we did open up some boxes to see what was inside, though.
Probably towards the end, but yeah.
In the beginning, because remember when we went to the UPS first before we went to the Staples, we were opening up boxes to see what was inside.
Yeah. What is that? I don't know. Yes.
Because
I don't know what that means.
That I'm surprised that didn't, I guess, come up as like an option to do.
Yeah, because we were mostly just thinking about that. What I was saying before was that when Melissa feels like I'm not doing work, she gets annoyed. So that caused an issue when we were on a trip, because I feel like that was a pattern that happened before we got to the trip and when we got on the trip. So I'm like, okay, if you feel like you're doing the most work, then I will just do the work myself. I won't ask you for any help. We won't have to work on this together. I'll just do it myself. So that is when we were at Staples, and I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm just going, because if you're stressed, and when you're stressed, you stress me out. I just would rather do it myself. That way I don't have to deal with you stressing me out. That's how I looked at it. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to do everything myself, and we'll just figure everything else afterwards. So that's what ended up happening during that. Now, before we dropped off all of the packages, no, was it before? No, after we dropped the packages off, right? We went to the lawyer. We dropped the car off and went to the lawyer. So we're sitting in the lawyer's office for this Airbnb situation, right? We're sitting in there, and as soon as we go in, he pretty much says to us, I think that the reason that they canceled your lease is because you're black. This is a white guy told us this straight to our face. He's like, listen, it's probably because you're black. That area, they're not fond of black people. I know people who own property in that area. I know. So I was like, I thought that was a odd thing because we are both black. Like, well, Melissa and I are black, but the guy that our realtor was Middle Eastern. So we found out that guy was his brother who owns the property. So we're like, okay, you know what? Maybe, you know, they wouldn't be racist because we're both brown people, right? That's what I thought. We still don't know if that's the reason why he said no, but according to this guy, he thinks that's what it is. So until then, we won't know. Now, he asked me to send him the expenses of everything that came up during this trip, because I feel like, look, I would love to have an Airbnb there. Even in my soul, in deep parts of my soul, I would want to do an Airbnb with the same owner, but that's just coming from a what would you call that? It comes from like the lack of mindset, where it's like I just want to have, and as opposed to letting things go that probably aren't good for me. I'm like, I just don't want to let this opportunity go, and I would still do it if he was the owner. That was kind of where in my soul I still felt like that, but we didn't end up doing that, and you know, it probably is for the best. So at that point, I'm like, look, I just want my money back that we spent. Like, just send us back the money we spent on this trip, and we'll be even, and we'll be square. We had a nice time out here. It was cool. We came to Philadelphia, stayed at Airbnb, whatever. We drove around, cool. But I want my money back. I want to be paid back in full, and plus the lawyer fee. So I sent him the lawyer information, or I sent the lawyer the expenses on Saturday. It's now Tuesday. I have not heard back from him. So I'm going to wait until tomorrow to call him, because if I don't get a response tomorrow, I should call some other lawyers in the meantime. But I will wait till tomorrow to call him to see what he says. And if he does not respond or have any type of feedback, then I will start looking to other lawyers, because there's no way I'm going to let this guy have us spend our money and then just run off and be like, and cancel the lease that we already signed and we have to pay for. How we come out with a loss on both sides? That's crazy. So I'm just like, you know what? I'm just not even gonna, I can't hold that. I can't sit on that. So that's kind of where we are with that. And like I said, we spent probably about $4,000 on that trip, whether it be between Airbnb, renting a car, food, returning labels and packages. What else do we spend stuff on? A lot of miscellaneous items like Uber. It's a lot of miscellaneous things that we spend on the trip out there. But that's right now, that's the most recent update as far as how Airbnb is going. The guy said that if they find out that it's a race thing, then this will be a bigger case than him just paying us back the money for the breach of contract. Now, I don't really know what the game plan is for them to figure that out, or what they're gonna do, or whatever. But like I said, at the end of the day, I just want my money back. And if we get a bigger money or more money from a lawsuit or something like that, that's cool too. But just give it back the money we started off with. So that's kind of where we at right now. Melissa and I were thinking about what we were going to do as far as going forward and how we're going to make money, because the plan for this Airbnb was this. We needed income to be able to either get more loans or more credit, or to be able to be approved for housing to stay in Atlanta, things like that. Even for the refinance, I believe you need to have income. So we don't have a large amount of income to prove. We have the house, we have credit, but it's weird because those things are helpful, but you need to prove that you have income coming into your account. So we're still working on that. We were talking about doing Turo, as we talked about before. So we're looking into that option again. We're thinking about using Carvana to get our first car, or our first couple of cars. We're trying to figure out what the best method would be, because I want to make sure that my credit is in the right place to do it. We've been approved for some cars. I don't know exactly which ones, but I want to be able to make enough money that it looks good to other people, not just enough for us to pay our bills on. So I think I comfortably would be like maybe I don't even know if 3 is a lot, $3,000 to like $7,000 a month, something like that might help us. But I do not know how many cars that would be. And also in New York right now, you cannot have Turo. So we would have to put the car in Jersey to be able to use Turo. So that's kind of an issue that we have right now that we're kind of working on. Since coming back from the trip, I guess I know me personally, I felt like I was in a very like high state of of motion, I guess you could say. I felt like I just had to do something all the time. So now that we're back, it's almost like everything I have to do does not compare to what we had to do before. So I feel like everything just going very, very slow. Before, we were working on getting designs, interior designers, we were buying furniture, staging a room, looking at what the best products to be were for each place, sourcing furniture, running the numbers on different places in different areas. It was just a lot. And I feel like now it's not as much. So I just kind of, when I finish what my plan is for the day, I'm kind of like, damn, I feel like I should be doing something else. Like, there should be more to do than just that. So like I said, now I'm getting back into wholesaling very, very slowly. We're looking into the Turo thing. We got monetized on YouTube last week. So that is where our focus is at kind of right now. It's like, this is my first time ever getting paid from YouTube. And it's crazy because it's like, I would always see YouTube videos of people getting paid and talking about, revenue and things like that. And I always wanted to get monetized just so I could see the numbers on our computer. And we have some CPMs that I've never seen on any other channel in my entire life. And I still don't know to this day why they're so high. We'll make a video about it at some point. But right now, the CPMs that I've seen on our channel are higher than I have ever seen on any video anywhere on the platform of YouTube, anywhere. That I've never seen this before. So I don't know what that is, but I said we're doing pretty well on YouTube. I mean, let me not say that. We're definitely not. That's not the case. We have made less than $50 in the last week. So, but it's just cool that we wake up and see that we got paid from YouTube. It's a good feeling, that financial independence, that financial freedom that everybody talks about of making money while you sleep. It's cool to wake up and say, okay, we made $3 yesterday. We made $4 yesterday. And we actually have only made money off of our past content. So now that we have done with the Airbnb situation in Philadelphia, we have more content we want to put out, as well as what we're doing going forward. We are still renovating the house. We're still going to do Turo. We're still moving to Atlanta at some point. We're still going to do Airbnb. We're going to have an Airbnb in Philadelphia regardless of anything, because that's what we're doing with the house. So it's like we have a lot of content coming out. I think it's great that we had this content coming out after we get paid, because it's like, wow, we can actually make money from YouTube that pays bills. Like, I could buy lunch with YouTube money, and it's just crazy to me. Like, oh wow, you could actually go outside and YouTube will pay for my lunch for that day if I wanted it to. It's a crazy feeling. So like I said, we have some other rollout stuff that we have over the next, 6-7 months. It would have been sooner if this Airbnb thing came in the way it was supposed to, but we still got some plans, some things coming up. We still working on all of that, trying to get those numbers up, but nothing too crazy though, and one of the things we were going to do to buy Turo was we were going to use Payapl to get money off a credit card, and then the account got like flagged, right? Maybe it's the amount. I should have probably did a lower amount possibly. And it was $10,000, and they were like, no. So now my account is restricted. Not only is it restricted, they're saying if I try and refund the money back to my card, I still lose the 3% fee that I would have to pay. So I just think that that's unfortunate. So we're trying to figure out what we're gonna do. They said if we submit information for why we did that, then maybe it'll be fine. And they were saying that what we have to submit was like, honestly, it's mad information: passports, IDs, business type, website, what the transaction was for, what the business does, is a lot of stuff. Like I said, hopefully if it does go through, we could be good. We're using that to help boost our credit. We're using that to help get us into other places, and hopefully get to apply for more loans and be able to move around the way we want to move. So, did I forget anything else in the life update? What is the issue? Why are you looking like that? You want to eat?
Eat what?
Yeah, the smoothie.
You don't want me.
What?
You don't want me. What do you want?
To not be stressed all the time. That's what I want. So,
I'm trying to figure it out.
what you gonna buy? You said salmon? Oh. Yeah, maybe you say your period's coming. I'm like, you seem like you want a lot of fish, which has estrogen in it, right? Are you pregnant? Oh, yeah, this is the other thing too. The last thing I'm gonna touch on with life update. I normally have my therapy sessions before I come on the podcast, and I normally will talk about that here. But last week Tuesday. Sure. From where? A Jamaican spot? Okay, sure. Because I feel like the last night chicken and waffles, it wasn't really chicken and waffles. So I use BetterHelp, right? Which is a platform that I use for therapy. I feel like I always want to make myself better in any way I can. And I feel like mental health is always a place that you can do better at. So for me, it was mostly emotional help. I feel like, well, according to the guy on the phone call, he felt like I'm not a very emotional person. That's what he felt like. I'm a very mental person. I'm a very physical person, but I'm not emotional. So that's something I've been working on. Last week, with this whole debacle from Airbnb, that was the day. Honestly, the guy called me like 10 minutes before or 10 minutes after I normally have my phone call, which is on a Tuesday. So I didn't have the phone call last week. And with everything going on, I did not reschedule the one for today. So I didn't have one today either. Now, I've been playing around with the idea of canceling my BetterHelp so that Melissa could use it instead. I feel like it would better suit her than me. I do think it's useful for myself, but I think in the grand scheme of things, it has a more useful purpose for her than it does I. And it's like, I think it's $65 a week, which is like $234 a month. I was playing around with the idea of paying for it for both of us, but I'm like, that's like $470 a month. That's a subscription. That's a crazy subscription. I might as well go to Equinox or something and work out. So that's not gonna happen. So I'm probably gonna just pay for Melissa, and then there'll be some interesting content. Melissa come on here and talk about what her and her therapist talked about. And I actually talked to somebody else recently who's been using BetterHelp, and they were saying, listen, shit slap. They said the first person they had didn't slap, but the second person was reading them. And that's what I want. I want a therapist that's going to see me and be like, damn, Donivan, you just blinked twice with your right eye. Do you know what that means? That means that you was just thinking about how depressed you really are and how anxiety ridden. I'm like, oh my God, how did you know it? Like, that's what I want. I need the therapist you see on the TV that just know you. They look at you and go, oh, you wore a blue shirt today? What's going on? I know whenever you wear blue, that means that you and your girl going through something. I need that kind of therapist. The one I have is cool. He's good, but I feel like the last 2 weeks it's kind of been like, it's like, we kind of get off the phone early. I'm not really a fan of that. And I don't feel like I need him to read me every line. Should either be him reading me or him listening to me talk so he can read me then. That's what I want. That's exactly what I want. But I feel like maybe my vibe I've been getting from him is that he's not trying to influence my thoughts too much. I feel like I kind of get that. He does the, generic, stereotypical, how do you feel about that? What is it? I don't really want to tell you how do you feel about that? That kind of thing. So listen, I want you to tell me how I feel. That's what I want you to do. Tell me how I feel about this, and I'll tell you if you're wrong or not. That's what I want. So that's my life update for the last week. I did not listen to last week's episode. Honestly, I forgot. That's the reason. And like I said, we kind of just been. Last week's episode was the Airbnb thing. So next week's episode will be back in the flow of things. Oh yeah, that's two things I remember from last week's episode that I do want to talk about. The episode intro is mad long. And I have to hear it today because I had more energy because we shot in the morning. Shout out to my sister, or in the afternoon. But I got that. It was too long. It's too long. It shouldn't be that long. I feel like 2 minutes plus is 2.5 minutes. That's too long. I need to shorten it. But I want all the information to stay there. So I'm currently working on trying to figure out how to get it to stay there. And then one thing I realized about myself through last week's phone call with the lawyer, the one that was representing the owner, is this. I really have a problem with it's weird. It's like overpowering people, I guess that's the term. Because I feel like I can say something very normal and people go like, oh my God, Donovan, why are you being so rude or mean? And I'm just like, I'm not. I'm being either very honest, I'm being straightforward, I'm being very direct. And I feel like when I do that, people either shut down or they go, okay, whatever you say, you're right. Nah, you got it. And I'm just like, I can't even have a dialogue at that point anymore. And I realized that what I realized the problem with that is it has now conditioned me to not say what I'm thinking because other people just shut down. So now it's hard for me to have that conversation because like, damn, I'm talking about the lawyer from last week. He was saying things like, for example, he said, if I would have signed the contract, the portal would have opened up to pay for the lease. And I'm like, that's stupid. Like it does not make any sense. Like how does that make any sense? And he would have said what he kind of did on the phone too, which again y'all see in the video when it comes out. He's just kind of like, oh yeah, well it's not me, it's the realtor. It's him. And I'm like, if you're gonna cop out and back out, then don't say stupid shit. Like, don't say something stupid, and then when I go, that's dumb, go, yeah, all right, you're right, my bad. Huh? Don't do that. And then he said, I'm like, bro, my whole thing was I'm trying to understand what you're saying. So if I don't understand what you're saying, I'm gonna ask you questions because I don't know what you're saying. How does that make you now want to pass the buck to somebody else? Like, oh man, he asked me a question. You take this on. So that to me, I don't really like that. And like I said, to me, my issue is when that happens, I can sense it happening and I'll just stop talking. Like I'll just kind of be like, you know what? I can tell from the small pushback that I did give, this person already shutting down. And if, for example, it'll be something similar to if he says they're banning Airbnb in Philadelphia and I go, that's not what the article says. Oh, well, I just read the headline, man. I don't even know, man. It's not on me to know this stuff. It's just on. So then why are you saying this to me? Why are you saying these things to me if you are not going to be the one to back it up when I tell you that you're wrong? And then those things annoy me. That's a problem I definitely have. And I don't know what caused it, how to fix it. I don't know if it's a me problem or it's other person problem, but I know it's a problem that I have to deal with. And maybe something I can just go, maybe it's something I can just ignore possibly. And I feel like, but it's maybe if I ignore it, it doesn't go away. Because the issue I have with the people that will do it will talk as though they're right and then be wrong. And then I'll be like, why? Why will you talk with so much strength? And then when I'm like, that's not true. Now you're not. Now all of a sudden you just like, well, yeah, you're right. Yeah, okay.
Why are they supposed to say that?
I think they should acknowledge that they were wrong. Like with him, I'm like, if you're telling me that Airbnb is illegal and I'm telling you that it's not, and the article that you told me that you read is also incorrect, and this is why it's incorrect, you should go, damn, that's crazy. Let me go and fix this. Not, I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know. It's like, what do you mean what you don't know now? You told me what you read. I'm telling you this is what's happening. You're telling me no. You tell me this is not what's happening. So I feel like they should say, you know what, bro? This is what I read. This is what I thought. I'm going to go and look into it more, or I'm going to talk to the person that told me to tell him what you told me. One of those two things. But then going, shit, ask him. Don't ask me, ask him. It's like, then why am I talking to you in the first place? So that's how I feel. Like if you're not the person that has the information, I shouldn't be talking to you, and you shouldn't be calling me. So that's that. This is Donovan's question for the day. I'm just curious what you guys would do if the government came to you and said, listen, person 1 and person 2, in the next 10 years, the population will be 45 billion people on the planet. And they said, listen, to prevent that, we need for you to get your tubes tied and get a vasectomy. You cannot have any kids. We need you to get abortions if you are pregnant, and we need you to not have kids. I'm just curious, would y'all say okay? If they said it's for the betterment of the world, and they said we need to protect the earth and we do not want you to have any more kids, I'm very curious, would you be okay with that? And if not, why? So these are topics I had for the last like 2 or 3 weeks, but because things were going so crazy, I never really got to touch on them as much as I did. I wanted to, but I'm kind of gonna do like a what do you call that? Like a speed round, as you could call it. It's kind of my thoughts on different topics. The baby thing, I think is crazy. Just because it don't make any sense. Like, I feel like it just didn't make any sense when he said. I think it was distasteful. I can't even say that. I seen DJ Academics, which again, I don't even know why I'm referencing him, but I did watch this video. He talked about it. He said that people back in the day used to say that. He would say anything to get a crowd up and going. And I'm like, is that the only thing you could say to get a crowd up? Is who don't have HIV? Who's not going to die in a couple years? Who was outside in the parking lot sucking dick? I'm like, this. And not only did he say those things, right? They were in succession. It was one after the other. I think if he spread them out, maybe he could have got away with it not being a homosexual thing. But I feel like him putting them right on top of the other one is kind of like, damn, what made you put them all together like that? You found something? I thought you found food. I'm kind of hungry also, and I can finally sleep after this because now I don't have nothing.
Where you ordered?
Oh, from where?
What you mean from where?
Is it from Jamaica spot?
No.
All right. See?
It's not the same spot.
Yes, it is.
Oh, do you want me to show it to you?
Not really.
Okay. So just go
I think that's what the exemptions. Yeah, that was my thing about the baby. I just felt like it didn't make sense, and whatever. Speed round. The mask mandate against wearing mask. I think that's a crazy topic because when you think about people who are wearing masks, right? Like I said, to me, the vaccines, masks, if you want to wear it, wear it. If you don't. I don't really care, and I don't think anybody should force you to do one or the other. I think it's funny and hypocritical that people are going to get upset about the government forcing somebody not to wear a mask. And that's crazy to me because I feel as though if you are okay with them forcing people to wear a mask for the reason that they give, and their reason is it's for safety. If the government said we're going to force you not to wear a mask for the same reason, which is safety, the same people who got a mask would be like, nah, that's not okay. Some people say or have said that mask causes own issues. Now, whether they're true or not, who knows? But at the end of the day, it's both sides saying something is dangerous. We can't prove. If you are sitting in your house right now, you have no way of knowing if something is real or dangerous or not. You're not a scientist. You don't have a laboratory. You don't know. You can assume. You can even read articles, but you don't really know. You just have to go by what somebody else tells you. That's just the way it is. So if somebody came on here and said masks are going to I don't know, what do they say? Masks cause people to get sicker because the breath that you breathe goes back into your mouth. They were saying something like that before, right? And people were like, oh my God, this is crazy. Other people were saying that's ridiculous, right? Honestly, we don't even know if it's true. It could be true or it could not be true. We don't know. Honestly, I don't really care. And that's my whole thing is I don't care. If you want to wear a mask, wear a mask. My other issue is this. I asked this last week in a podcast. If you believe that vaccines are supposed to keep you safe, right? You believe that. Then you should not care whether somebody else gets vaccinated or not because you would be safe. If people if you feel like it's supposed to be safe, you will be fine. Now, here's what I've been hearing too about this Delta variant thing, right? I watched a video recently and I read some article and they were talking about how viruses mutate when they come in contact with vaccines, right? And they're more likely to mutate with vaccines. I even think somebody said that Dr. Fauci said this also. I think it's interesting because I definitely think that I definitely think that viruses mutate in regular people. I don't know if they mutate as fast though. I feel like they wouldn't. What do you think? Do they mutate as fast? I feel like because it's similar to the food thing where it's like they gave us a concentrated version of an immune system for the virus. So now the virus will then come back just as hard for that. So I created food because I feel like a lot of times with food, they will give us let's say you need vitamin C for your body, right? Let's say you need iron for your body. They will give you something that has too much iron for you, and your body will then counteract that. And then when it tries to fight against the amount of iron that it has, you normally have a negative effect if you have too much iron in your body. I feel like this is something similar to that. I feel like if you give somebody the vaccine, this particular vaccine I'm talking about, I think it's more likely you'll have mutations because it's a condensed version of the virus. The virus comes in contact with your body. It has an immune system. It goes, okay, let me transform into something else. Now, this is all speculation. You know why speculation?
The virus has an immune system and it's going to transform into something else.
Huh?
You're saying the virus has an immune system and it's going to transform into something else?
No, I'm saying that the people have an immune system. And I think when they get the vaccine, the virus comes in contact with that. And then it goes, okay, I need to become stronger to then counteract this immune system that you have. Mm-hmm. Now, because let's say do some numbers, for example. Let's say that your immune system is a 1, right? And you need a 2 to beat the 1, right? The virus is a 2, number 2, right? I think when you get the vaccine, it's now an immune system that's at 10. So to beat that, the virus has to go to like a 15. I think that causes a Delta variant. That's what I think. You get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying.
Uh-huh.
I asked you just to clarify for other people.
Okay.
But I don't think you have to jump to 10 to 15. I think you could have just went up to 3 or 4.
Nah, because I was shown because it's so much more concentrated. Because I feel like if they're making the vaccine, it's supposed to be the equivalent to your immune system, but it's going to be a super version of it to counteract the virus. Mm-hmm. That's my theory. So again, what I was going to say was the same way that I don't know what the fuck is going on. Nobody listening to this knows what the fuck is going on. Nobody watching this right now, listen to this, knows what the fuck is going on. You can't tell me you do. There's no way you could prove to me that you know what's going on. I'm going to speculate the same way you're going to speculate. Listen, that's all I'm saying. And when I speculate, I just try not to make any permanent decisions about my speculations. If I speculated that the virus was terrible and gonna kill everybody, and I said, you know what, Melissa, we gonna move to another state and we gonna kill people so nobody dies from the virus. That's an extreme. I wouldn't do that. I'm gonna just stay in my house and chill. I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna wait it out and see what happens. I'm not gonna make no permanent extreme decision based off shit I don't know about. I'm not. That's what I'm saying. And that's my take on that. Do what you will. That's my issue. My issue is always going to be stop trying to make people do what you want them to do. It usually, if not always, will backfire in some way. If people don't want to do it, they will fight against you. Whether it be now or later, it's going to happen. One of the reasons I even brought this up was I watched a video where this guy, right, he was going around with a petition. It was like a prank, I guess. Maybe it might have been California. And the petition said to put people in jail who are not vaccinated. It said, should vaccines be mandatory? They said yes. And the answer was, then the other part of it said, if people don't want to get it, they should be put in jail. And people were like, yeah, sure. And I'm just like, damn, that's kind of crazy. I think that's a crazy thing that people would be like, yeah, sure, you should put people in jail who don't want to get the vaccine. It's so crazy. And then today I read an article about, I think it's Israel or it's someplace. You look it up yourself. They were saying that they are one of the most vaccinated countries in the world and now have almost their highest amount of cases of COVID again. And people are dying over there. And I'm just like, I'm not even saying that the vaccine is going to kill you. I don't even know if it is or not. I'm just saying, what's the point of it? If people still catching it and dying, it's supposed to be what? We die less? That's the solution for it. Like I said, people were not dying that much before anyways. It's like the percentage of people that were dying before was like less than 1%. So now what I realized, this is my thing. What I realized is this. I think that the virus is very contagious. And anything that is very contagious will have more deaths because more people will catch it. It's not that fatal. It's just very contagious. Now, is that something that you decide that you want to change the world for? I don't know. Me personally, I feel like you should want to change the world for extremely fatal diseases. Those are the ones I feel like, damn, we need to stop this right now. Extremely contagious, I don't know. What do you think? You think it's that? Yeah, how you feel about that?
What do you mean? I forgot.
Do you think that one is more important than the other, or do you think they're both equally as important to care about? A virus that's more contagious or one that's more deadly?
I think that one that's more deadly, because contagious means that you catch it. Like the flu is contagious, cold is contagious, and people still die from those every year. But it also comes down to your immune system.
Right.
Whereas if something is more deadly, that means that it can probably compromise even average immune systems.
Facts, or good ones too. And that's what I think. That's what the problem. That's my issue. Where it's like there's certain shit that you could be like, yo, I'm a healthy person. We're taking people gonna say this anyways. Most people who are healthy are not dying from COVID. That's just not the case. Most people who are in shape, the majority of people who are in shape, the majority of people who are, eating healthy and doing things like that are not dying from COVID. They're not elderly. You don't really hear a lot of young people dying. Yes, they go to the hospital now, I think, but I have yet to hear of any person my age or close to my age who has died from COVID. I don't know anybody. I know one person, and I think he already had fatal disease already before he died from COVID. So I think he had an immune disorder, which obviously is going to be the worst thing to have when a virus that attacks you because you can't fight against it. So other than that, I don't know anybody that young. Everybody else I know that has passed from COVID is usually male and older, probably in their late 40s, 50s. And honestly, I don't know of any women that are passing from COVID like that. Do you know anybody, women that's passed from COVID?
Not really, no.
Yeah, I don't know any women that passed from COVID. That's interesting. I don't know. Ooh, conspiracy theory. I don't know. Like I said, I be out here just chatting because all this shit is funny to me. Because I'm just like, bruh, I don't know what's going on. Nobody that's not at the top really knows what's going on, and we just make a decision based off of people telling us what to do. I find it to be really funny. So do with that info as you will. This was the last podcast before we get back to normal. We will be back here next Tuesday. All right. If you haven't already, you can go check out our social medias. Mine is Donivan Gray, DONIVANGRAY. And something funny that happened to me this week was I saw this page on Instagram scrolling, right? And I saw a picture of a house. I'm like, damn, that has to be a Philadelphia house because it looks exactly like the one we bought. Same exact layout, same, everything looks exactly the same. I'm like, that's crazy. So I clicked on it on the video, right? I'm on the video. I'm like, oh, this is cool. It's definitely Philadelphia. I see by the titles and whatnot, hashtags. I click on this person's page, right? This person in their page has that they are from Atlanta and moved to Philadelphia. They have Airbnb. They buy property in Philadelphia. They are documenting the journey with their girlfriend, and they are doing Turo. I just thought it was crazy. I'm like, this is so I just had to text him like, bro, I think this is crazy that we literally are doing the same exact things right now. Like he's further way ahead of it than I am. I think he bought like 3 different multifamily units, has cars already, and has Airbnb set up. So he's definitely more ahead of it than we are. I just thought it was so crazy that we're like more or less doing the same things. He moved up here to Philadelphia. I want to move to Atlanta. So, but we will be back here next Tuesday. If you haven't already, you can go check out social medias. Mine is Donivan Gray, DONIVANGRAY, and you have my phenomenal, beautiful, amazing girlfriend, Anita Burn, ANETABURN. We have 6 different projects. All right, we have the food project, we have the clothing project, we have the music project, we have the fitness project, we have the sports project, and we have the Bamboo Project podcast, which you just finished listening to right now. You know what it is. Hashtag Bamboo Project 2021. We going up all year. You know the vibes. And with that being said, Bamboo Project out.